Rival gangs will wage war on the streets of London. Only one will be left standing. Choose your side wisely.
You're gonna die! London will suffer! Look out! I'm going to ram him off the road.
Gangs of London.
So, you know we've been talking to Nintendo and they won't get back to us or anything. Guess what just showed up?
Bunch of Wii's?
Yeah. No, a Wii.
A Wii.
2 button. You have to be right in the thing or else it goes kind of weird. If you're not right in the little sensor area. Yeah. It's a little touchy. You have to use the D-pad to shift to... What do you think?
You need to keep it straight.
Oh,
going a bit.
Yeah, it sucks if you overcompensate.
Yeah, wearing all the goggles and.
Oh,
I meant to do that. 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 Wait, hang on.
Oh, there you go.
I was just showing you you can do very elaborate maneuvers.
You might not be right in the sensor area because it goes kind of screwy if you're like
that. That would be what was the problem.
Oh, wait.
What are you doing now?
If you put it, you have to actually shift it into reverse. There you go.
Oh no. You don't know.
I didn't want to do that.
You're not very.
I didn't tell it to do that.
It's kind of It's kind of touchy. Here, wait, I think you're out of the sensor area.
Oh,
Did it unplug? I think it unplugged. Wait. I think the sensor bar might be like.
Try waving around.
Yeah, try doing like a.
Try
Try to do a circular.
Here, wait.
We don't actually have a Wii.
There's no Wii, John. This is old. This is old games we're playing. Off the tape. To your credit, you were saying
probably fit right up there, I think.
Hey, I don't wanna go to work today. Wanna stay home and play all my video games on the One-Up Show. You know you'll be a star on the One-Up Show. You already are.
Hey.
Hey.
What's up? Welcome back. First day.
Thank you.
How's,
I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, you feeling good? You feeling
yeah.
settled and everything?
Totally. Everybody's been really helpful.
Oh, that's awesome. So, listen, it's kind of busy right now, so I'm gonna have you like leap right into it. I got to go talk to Jeremy about Zelda. Ryan is, I think he's setting up for Resistance. Rob's still editing Halo 3, our visit, with the interviews and stuff. And then Cesar is editing Zelda. But we do have something for you.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and you get to play the PS3 as well.
Awesome. Like Resistance? Doing like a 40-person multiplayer?
Actually, I think Ryan and EGM got that covered, but I have a couple games, like if you could just take them, play them as much as you can, and try to grab some footage. And cool?
NBA? Really?
Yep, PS3.
Best basketball game.
Next gen. Great to have you back. Thanks.
Dark Kingdom. Is somebody's playing Genji? Really? Nobody? I'll play Genji.
most games, you know, a spoiler would be like this thing happens in the story or you get such and such weapon. But for me, like some of the most exciting things to happen in the game were just like I'd end up in this new environment and it's so beautiful, it's so cool to run through that like you can't help but be like, oh gee whiz, and stand and look at everything for a few minutes. You know, I've been playing a lot of other games lately, a lot of Resistance and a few other games, and all I can do is think about how much I want to go back to playing Gears of War, which is, you know, for better or for worse, it's been the game that I'm thinking about for the past 2.5 weeks or
Well, that's
whatever.
sort of like the testament of what a good game is, though, ultimately. And I mean, I think the biggest surprise about Gears of War is how good the single player is.
Thanks.
One of the things that Gears does really well is it does create these combat scenarios that stick in your memory the way a combat scenario in Halo did. And I mean, in that way, Gears of War is a lot like a new Halo.
Fire in the hole.
In Nightfall, the gas station encounter, like that is just an excellent encounter, and it sticks with you after you're done. You'll remember it, you know, as you're going back through the game again.
I was like, man, there's so many cool moments. Like you guys talked about the gas station. Like to me, when I first met the Berserker, I'm like, wow, this huge enemy that just goes crazy enough that, or he'll even kill his teammates because he just wants to get to us so badly. She can't see you, but she can smell you and she can hear you. So that in itself, I'm like, that's pretty cool. You know, it's just not all enemies with guns that you're facing.
You should either start on casual or start hardcore on co-op.
Co-op,
yeah. Because the AI is another thing that it doesn't get right at all.
Right.
It, like it doesn't even do it, especially in hardcore.
Yeah, there are a bunch of babies. I started on hardcore, finished on hardcore, and it was difficult and it was a pain in the ass, but I was never like, I really need to
die a lot.
Dude, no,
yeah, but
not your fault. I heard you finishing the game on hardcore.
Eat shit and die!
I've been on this part for an hour. It's like, you know,
you learn patterns by dying, which
no,
which
but
isn't.
you don't. But you don't though.
You do.
No, you don't.
You do.
No.
Yes.
You guys are wrong. Like there's one specific part where you're inside your mansion, and then these guys, the locusts, are about to storm in, and you have to keep them out. And that was one of the ones where I was like just throwing a tantrum and going nuts. Like I tried it different ways. Like first, I knew they're gonna blow through the front door, so I threw a grenade in there to blow them up as soon as they came in. And I was at the doorway shotgunning them as they came in, and it did really well for me, but it wasn't working consistently.
A lot of the levels have like an easy route through. There was one in particular where there's a big gun emplacement and a bunch of junk, and you think I'm gonna have to work out, and I'm gonna have to kill the guy on the gun, and then quickly run in, rescue my guys. But what it turns out you have to do is you have to go up the side, open a door, run up some stairs and kill one guy, and it completely unlocks the entire scene. But the only way that you know that that's what you have to do is experimentation and dying.
I feel like a lot of the time when I die in Gears, it's because it is my own fault. I mean, I definitely saw there were times
on hardcore?
Yeah, even on hardcore, it's either my fault for like going and rescuing someone, which is the ultimate, it's a trap.
I was gonna say,
like,
that's what
the
you...
bait. Like, Dom's down, he's bleeding out. Like, fuck that, dude. I'm not, you deal with it. Just die, I don't care. You're gonna resurrect when the checkpoint hits.
Thanks, man.
Most of my frustrating deaths were melee based, and like how
Anything-
unreliable the
anything
chainsaw
up close
is.
was really
Anything
tough.
up close, the chainsaw, it's fun to look at, and when it's one-on-one and you're like approaching a guy, it's awesome.
You have to
But if
rev
you
it up
get-
and move
You
in
have to
with
rev
it.
it up. Like if you're just like firing away and 2 guys close in on you, you're screwed.
Like if you're in a 1-on-2 situation, you should not charge in. The game teaches you pretty quickly.
Well, it's not you charging in; it's you getting charged by 2 guys.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna lose those a lot, anyways. You know, even
In multiplayer, you got to stick together. I think. Like
Yeah.
if you're ever by yourself, you're just asking to die because that exact situation can happen. Anytime that I've played multiplayer matches, as long as you guys like stick together at the beginning of the map, and their team is doing the same and sticking together, then you end up with what Brian was talking about, which is the chessboard mentality, where
And that
the
the
encounter
chainsaw
actually
does
right.
work better in multiplayer.
Ryan said that after he played through the game, he didn't know what happened in the story. I kind of felt that way too, but then I realized the second time I was playing through it that I had picked up on more than I thought I had. You know what I mean? And that the story I thought was okay, not great, but it's okay. And what we were talking about was that there's a lot of little things that they hint at. You know, these little narrative threads that kind of get like seeded, but that they didn't do anything with. Oh, I wonder what's happening to Dom's girlfriend. Like, what happened at Marcus's trial? Like, you know, there's all these little things that I do kind of now want to know about that I didn't the first time through.
There's a lot of history here. A lot of lies, too. Well, you've got some nerve, soldier. I know all about your trial. This trial was a sham. Sir.
About halfway through, when your team is solidified and you know who you're going to be going through the game with, you start really like, I hope this guy doesn't get killed because I want him with me all the way through to the end, and that's really unusual for that to happen because you don't very often form an attachment with an AI character.
Shit. You think I'm kidding? I think you're batshit crazy. That's what I think. Oh, ain't that cute?
Like 2 assholes on their first date.
I remember the last game that I really enjoyed and like that I really got into the gameplay, but that I didn't remember the story was Halo.
Multiplayer's fun. I mean, I think the main problem is the one that you found very early on.
Yeah, that there's gonna be no way to like have 4 of us hook up and play ranked matches. And ranked matches for, I mean, achievement whores, that's where all the achievements are from. The matchmaking system that Bungie created is so good that it should just be sort of like de facto being copied by everyone. Like, there's no reason for you not to shamelessly rip off the ability of us to pick Warzone, have a team of 4, and get matched similarly up against a team of 4 with a similar true skill average. It's just an omission that we don't understand why.
But did you guys get a chance to play any of the real co-op?
Skip and I played over Xbox Live.
The first act.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool because we played on hardcore, and it was easier because now instead of having Dom, you know, your AI partner, kind of following you around and sort of half-ass flanking enemies, like we actually like we'll approach each scenario like okay, I'll go far right, you go far left, and we just completely pinching the enemies.
Form up!
You actually had an intelligent person, and more so than most co-op games because this was designed around co-op. People who play the game for the first time through in co-op, not single player first, they're gonna be really awed by it.
Dom, you and Gus go left. We'll go right.
Got it.
I like it a lot, but it was also a game I was really, really looking forward to because I'd kind of singled it out. It had these kind of very Resident Evil 4-esque gameplay elements that I thought were really interesting from the first time that I saw that Clippy demo of the game. I would say it's the most fun I've had this year with a game, aside from Half-Life Episode 1, Half-Life 2 Episode 1, which are both Gears and that game are very short, very tight experiences. My first time through Gears, it took me about 10 hours to get through, but on consecutive attempts, I could cut that time in half. I like to be able to play a game that I can finish in one sitting. And there's something to be said about games where once you finish them, you want to do nothing more than to hop back in and start it again.
That's really significant because I think there's a bunch of games that are going to get reviewed really well this year where once you've played through it once, that's going to be it. I have a feeling from what I've heard about Resistance that could be like that. There's things that you remember that you're like, oh, I want to go back and I want to do that right this time, or I want to do it with someone else, or...
Epic's laying a really solid foundation for this genre to emerge, and if someone sort of takes that and refines it and perfects it, that's when I think we're going to see something that's truly special.
Now that I finished it, I was the same way you guys were. Like, I want to play again on a harder difficulty setting, and I rarely do that. Like I'm usually just done with it, and then I want to play co-op. And now I can't wait for the retail version to come out and play multiplayer with my friends who weren't playing with me before. So yeah, it really surprised me, and it just was constantly impressing me, like level by level.
It's up to you, Skip.
And
Yes. 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 Yes.
Cool.
Oh, dude, don't stick your Wii in my face. That's not cool.
You miss it? It's back.
I'm
You're
jonesing.
missing
I'm
the
jonesing for
controller?
Zelda.
Yeah, I am too. Shouldn't be long now though.
Yeah, they say they're gonna send this Wii's game out.
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I.
No, but I'm impressed. Like not just with what they did with obviously like the aiming, the first person aiming part was cool, but a few like different aspects of how they use the controller, like the speaker.
It kind of weirds me out when my hand laughs at me.
Yeah. It kind of like Midna giggles at you when she can use her power. She's almost like a poor man's hook shot.
Kind of. She also kind of is like a hook shot crossed with Navi.
Right.
Crossed with a really, really bossy girlfriend.
She's actually a really cool character. Like I really like the design and just the like. There's some kind of malevolent purpose to her. You aren't sure.
I'm not sure what's going on with her, but I'm sure that at some point it's going to come back to bite Link in his ass.
Yeah, but yeah, it did take me a while, like, to get used to the like pulling up the different buttons. But that's because
Yeah, it's totally like something you'd have on DS.
Right.
Except, which I guess is kind of what they're going for, is like a DS on your TV.
Yeah.
I think what I like most about the whole controller setup is just that it works so much better than what they had going on at E3. Like E3, you had to pull back and you had to hit the D-pad to do all the stuff, and I think they realized that was just retarded.
Yeah,
so they've switched it. So yeah, now you could just tap a button and then it sends that command, whatever's mapped to it, to the B button.
Right.
So you're really just hitting the A and B buttons most of the time.
And that's true. And you're using your D-pad to switch between your different items. And the thing that I liked was actually switching items on the D-pad was like fast and easy. Like you just hit minus, pull up the items, point to what you want, and then hit it. And the Gorons like made their appearance, looking all big and burly and kind of sumo wrestler. Like,
yeah, the sumo wrestler part was not what I was expecting in a Zelda game.
Yeah.
It's a little weird to see Link all like in his underwear.
Right. Yeah, he's like strips down and grapples one-on-one, and it's like the controls with that part too are like push the guy out of the ring like this and grab him and stuff like that.
Yeah, well the part where you like grab the giant metal Goron and then like pick him up, it's kind of like
toss him aside.
Yeah, the fight with Bowser in Super Mario 64, but you don't have to aim so much, you just toss him off the side.
Right, yeah.
It's a pretty cool mini boss fight.
Yeah.
Definitely different than anything in Zelda before. Actually, I think after the first dungeon is where the game really starts to get interesting. Like up until, the first 6 hours, the first dungeon, it's a forest dungeon. How many times have we played one of these before?
Right.
Like, all that is just kind of, to help you get your feet if you haven't played Zelda before. It's a little bit boring for us who have been with the series for all this time.
I mean, it was kind of a little, on one respect, we've already kind of played the dungeon, because if they're at E3, the forest dungeon is the first dungeon. That was like 2 years ago. But it did have more. It was different. I liked it. You got to see, some old enemies, and, they had the different puzzles, like using a boomerang to grab something and then bring it back on something else was pretty cool. Like to flip a switch, you grab a bomb and hit the switch with it and stuff like that.
I just felt like it was all kind of familiar territory. It was when we got out of the first dungeon and went into Hyrule Field that suddenly you realize, oh my god, this game is epic. It's like You know, when you first leave the first Los Santos in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas,
Right.
and you realize, oh, all this stuff that I've seen, it's just a little tiny part of a much bigger world.
And then there's that whole the little village at the foot of sort of the Goron Mountain is another like
Yeah, going back
human
to
village.
Kakariko Town.
Yeah.
It's like a desolate old west town. It's been abandoned. You don't know why it's been abandoned.
Mhm.
But then you enter the dark world and you have to purify that town.
Right. To
It's-
get
it's
another
really
one of those
creepy, yeah.
spiritual, those big like spiritual
Right,
beings.
Collect stuff for the Princess Mononoke spirit.
Right. Yeah.
Even within like the road to the second dungeon, where you have the horseback chase with the goblins who burst into the town, and you have to fight them off while you're riding
Oh,
a Kona.
right.
And then you have the showdown with the orc on the bridge. That's awesome. That's one of the places where the control scheme is just completely perfect, and I can't imagine playing it on GameCube. You know, when there's goblins coming up on you on your horse from all sides,
Right.
instead of trying to fend them off with your sword, you can just, you know, flick the nunchuck and you do
Right.
a spin attack and clear everyone out. You know, on the GameCube, when you do at least in the older games, to do the spin attack, you kind of had to charge up, which left you really vulnerable. But there's none of that here. You can just flick and spin and shake off everyone.
Did you attack the
right.
the chickens in the village?
No,
I've
never been a chicken abuser in Zelda games. I
I'm
figure
a
you should
admitted-
live and let live.
I'm an admitted chicken abuser, so I tried it out, and it's different. I will say.
Oh, yeah,
it's-
what happens?
Well, you actually switch places with the chicken. You become the chicken for like 10 seconds. So I think it's
So
kind
like
of
you have to walk a mile in his claws.
Exactly. I
see.
think that's exactly the thinking behind it. Yeah. I was surprised. I didn't know till this event that the GameCube version is still basically like flipped, like horizontally flipped.
I had heard that, but I wasn't sure if that was true or not. But yeah, they confirmed it for us.
Yeah.
And, like, I really wish they had gone in and kept at least the major layout of the game consistent, even if some of the small details have been changed.
Yeah, I mean, and so I guess they did it so that Link would be right-handed because they figured most people, even the left-handed people, are going to be holding the Wiimote in this hand and doing
and
that.
I get that. But
Yeah, you think, oh God, what would happen if you just flipped the game around? It actually, it didn't really affect anything.
Not having any previous experience with Twilight Princess except on the Wii version.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't notice any problems.
Right.
So it's totally fine.
Yeah. And I have to say, like, walking into a dungeon room, the first time that you do a sword swipe, he actually just draws his sword. And I actually, like, really got a kick out of that, like, just walking into a dungeon room, and it was like, well, what do we have here? I was just like, shing, like, time to take care of business. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know, you sort of invest yourself physically in the game. It's not just sitting back
in this little thing, and you don't have to. I'm not like the guy in the Red Steel ads, like falling down from the sky and like jumping up and stuff like that.
You don't admit to anyone.
But doing the attack this way, the twist attack this way, just pulling out the sword, just doing stuff like this. You're not doing it one-to-one, so you're not really worried about it. You can do whatever motion you want. But yeah, especially aiming, targeting stuff, even with the slingshot, was like just instantly more fun when you're just aiming.
I just love how not having to worry about a button for the sword actually frees your controls up a lot.
I mean, I think like the waggle warriors, the waggle warts or whatever, are like way too concerned about how they look like playing a game. Like, I gotta tell you, like, nobody really looks cool playing a game. You can do it as much or as little as you want. You could sit there and just be going like this or just aiming like that. You're not like going totally nuts about it, stuff like that. And like we said, like having the different sword strokes just be like this or this, you stop thinking about it even like, a minute into the game, after doing it a few times, maybe an hour into the game.
I kind of had it in the back of my mind that there was this severe possibility that the Wii version of the game was going to end up being like a point in the score lower than the GameCube version, just because the Wii Remote functionality would be so stupid and so useless. But it's absolutely not. Like, it feels right with the game. And I think it's really encouraging because it means that, these hardcore traditional games will still be a lot of fun on Wii. If people can keep making games like that and they all turn out anywhere near as well as Zelda, I think the system has a good future ahead of it.
Morris Kane and his firm are legendary. For over 30 years, the Morris Kane firm has been a tough, well-respected group of hardened Cockney criminals based in the southeast corner of London. Specialising in protection rackets and armed robberies, the firm also runs a number of businesses, pubs, nightclubs and strip clubs around London. There isn't much the Morris Kane firm doesn't know about organised crime. Like the cars they drive, the firm is old school. But don't underestimate them. These boys are still able to dish out pain and take it in equal measure.
This is our city now, and it's gonna stay that way.
So we got PS3s in the office finally last week.
Yay!
PS3s. It was so
got like
exciting.
18 of them.
Yeah.
I wish.
Seriously. How has it been having the PS3s in the office? We've been waiting for it for so
If you
long.
put your coffee next to it, it stays warm.
Really?
Because of the heat coming out.
Well,
yeah.
no, but actually, the heat comes out of a specific place. It wasn't
Right.
designed for the heat to go up out of a vent. It
Right.
is really
Right.
hot up there, but the rest of the unit
Right.
stays nice and cold.
No, I'm saying, but it works well as a
Pretty
coffee
coffee.
warmer.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And it's not that loud.
No, it's
yeah,
not.
yeah, which
That's
is nice.
fine.
Can be compared to 360, which is like
Yeah.
always.
What I've noticed is, we don't have that many HDTVs here. We have a few, and we have no HDTVs that do 1080p, which kind of sucks. But like I've been playing mine in 720p on an HDTV, and it looks really good. But then you see the same game on like Dana's crappy old regular TV.
It's on mine.
Whoever it
Yeah.
is, through like composite cables, and you're like,
And it
oh,
looks like
what
crap.
happened to this game? It's something like it doesn't look good at all.
It looks like a last gen PS2 game
Yeah,
at best.
like the difference between HD versus non on this system is a big deal.
But I think that also goes game to game
It
because
does.
on the 360, Gears, even on standard, looks incredible.
Mhm.
But Rainbow Six, same
yeah, I
system.
think it depends on the textures and the way they do the lighting and stuff. Because some of
Yeah.
them, there's some of the detail that you're going to get picked out in high def that it's just not there in standard. Things look completely flat. Genji particularly, there's some scenes
Yeah.
where you're like, ugh.
But there are also scenes in Genji that look amazing.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
parts of it look
The
really,
fire- the
parts of it
fire-
look really good.
Fire looks really awesome.
but on
Like,
standard def,
On
it
standard,
looks like
it's not.
crap.
So
It's
the out of the
horrible.
box thing, I mean, it's another thing with the PS3. You're going to have to buy another thing.
Yeah, buy an
because
HD.
the
Or-
cable they give you is not up to
You
snuff.
thought $600 was a lot of money. Wait till you buy that TV.
And I think it's nice that it uses a standard HDMI cable. It's not
Right.
like a proprietary. It's like you can go
That's
online and get one for $12 or whatever.
And you can
yes,
use your
100%. I
PS2
bought one.
component
I bought a nice one for $30.
Oh, great! Because like
Yes.
a 10-foot monster cable is really expensive.
Yeah, you can't go to Best Buy and do this.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get charged like crazy.
But
if
Kathleen, you
go
were
online-
saying you can use your component cables for your PS2 because
Yeah.
the PS3
Yes.
won't come with component cables, which
Absolutely
is
not.
I still don't understand that one.
I almost say you almost need an HDTV for this. I was really surprised when I saw how bad it looked on a regular TV.
So now, Shane, you don't have an HD.
I do in my
TV
house. My roommate has one.
But so will you buy one for your room finally?
Well, I want to buy an HDTV. I'm waiting for it to go down in price. I mean, they are going down in price.
It's cheaper.
Right.
I mean, 720p. Like, if you don't want one that's really big, I mean, you can get one for less than $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of this thing?
I like it.
I'm not sold on it
likes
yet.
it.
I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold on it yet.
It's
Like,
I'm gonna need to live with it for a long time. I think. I mean, the rumble is, I think, just an imperceptible difference. But I can't
I
get used
think
to the
it's
weight.
yeah, the weight is the
weight.
it's the rumble I can really give a shit about.
I
It's
have no
it's
issue.
it's.
Although I
it's
noticed
not
when I'm
like-
playing Resistance,
Yeah.
there's so much going on in some of the battles in
Because we're
Resistance that you're not aware that you're being shot at sometimes.
Exactly.
And, yeah.
And it's
A
so
lot.
weird because I don't consciously think about when I'm playing an Xbox 360 game, I don't think about the rumble, but now that it's gone, I fully feel it. I'm like, whoa, there is something empty there.
Has anybody been playing a game that uses the motion control much, like 6
No.
axis?
I have.
Mm.
For NBA, you do all the offensive
You look
jukes.
fabulous.
So like, if you want to do a spin move, you like tilt it that way or that way. If you want to like do a juke left or right, you move this way. 4 out of the 6 moves really didn't work. Like if I moved it back or forward or left or right, it didn't really recognize it. But if I did the subtle movement like this for the spin, it worked fine. It didn't really add anything for me. I mean, I thought, hey, okay. I just ended up like after 10 minutes wanting to use the right analog stick because I knew it was more effective. Like I knew if I wanted to do a juke left or right, it would guarantee work.
The only time it's popped up for me is in Resistance when you in the places where we've seen where like an enemy grabs you and you gotta shake it to get him off. And for that things, I think it works great. And it's like the one time where I feel like I'm not missing the force feedback that the rumble provides or that rumble would provide. Oh, at this point now I can feel my body shake.
But I think
Buy your own rumble.
But I think that's probably what it's going to end up being better at is for not gimmicky moves, but things that that are gestures that it can be. There can be no mistake that this is nothing else. It's like shaking something off.
Yeah,
but
like
I think these sort of like subtle twists and nudges and stuff, people are going to be like.
I know my mom's kind of guilty of it. Is like, you know, she's trying to get Mario.
I am your mother.
Yeah.
When you're racing, you're gonna like, let's go,
Yeah, go, come on, go. You know,
Have you played Tony Hawk with it? Because you can play Tony Hawk with just the motion control.
Joe was talking about that, and he said that it worked okay. He said that he didn't know that he really felt a need to do it, and he said that he could get used to it if he had to do it that way.
The whole game,
but he wouldn't
because the controls in that game are so complex. Because now it uses all the face buttons, the triggers, and when you double click both the sticks to do the the slow mo thing. Does it move the whole thing into motion?
Maybe it's just the tricks. I don't know.
You actually can
that's
turn
a
with
whole
it. It's
thing. Right,
turning
you can
and
turn.
tricks.
Wow.
Yeah. What have you guys been playing of the games that we got?
Well, I mean, NBA. I've been playing NBA, which is actually better than I expected.
The Sony one?
The Sony one. NBA 07, sorry.
Have you played the 2K one yet?
Yeah, and basically it's the exact same thing as the Xbox 360, except that you hold the controller like this and shoot free throws like that, which is kind of interesting,
That's
which
kinda cool.
which kind of works. I'm still reviewing NBA 07, but I'd say right now, just kind of first impressions, I would go back to 2K because just overall it's a better game, it's a deeper game. But NBA 07 compared to what's done on the PS2 was way better. I mean, like especially like this cool downloadable content they have. Like, again, it has a cool feature in terms of like you can download scenarios from this week and kind of recreate them, and you get like bonus points and stuff. But for me, besides that, it's all about resistance and.
We'll have to lower that gate.
Resistance. I've been really hyped for this game, and I like it. But after playing it, after seeing the visuals, it's after I've played Gears, and I wasn't ready to like Gears as much as I do. And looking at Gears and then playing Resistance.
But they're two different games.
They're
I mean, they are two different games. I mean, they're very different games.
But if
I mean,
we're looking at games like
visually,
this
yeah,
holiday
it's not. It
season,
doesn't look as good as
Right,
Gears.
but show,
no
show
doubt.
me Gears with 40 people on your screen. Or you can't because there are 8 people on your screen.
It's like I feel like people are bagging Resistance just because it doesn't look as good as Gears, and I
No,
think that's
it's that-
kind of.
It's that I
unfair?
think if I think you're right, but I think if I hadn't played Gears, I would be so much more wowed by Resistance. They put this benchmark out there.
Oh, yeah.
So far beyond anything else out there.
I think they're both good games, and they're both good for their different reasons. But I mean, I don't know if this is it really a Gears versus Resistance versus Zelda? I mean, is that what we're kind of saying? Again, we're going to go back to that kind of.
That's like a small, it's like a little skirmish that's happening, but the overall war, that doesn't
Right.
really matter at all.
I'm playing Untold Legends.
Nice.
Bless your soul.
Or.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was watching you play that, and it looked like 99 Nights. They've changed it more away from the Baldur's Gate thing
changed
towards
a
this
lot, actually.
very sort of same camera view as Genji. Lots of tons of things piling at you with some like witch or necromancer at the back, like coordinating the spawns. And I'm like, I've played this before, and it was awful.
But it is coming out at launch. It is an online game you can play with your friends.
Right.
It's one of those mundane dungeon hack kind of games.
Generic, yeah, like anyone can pick it up and play it.
No! Please, don't hurt me!
I've been playing Genji and Ridge Racer, reviewing those.
And?
Ridge Racer. Let's talk about
Ridge Racer. It's Ridge Racer, as Kaz says.
Thank you.
I'm a little.
Thank you very much.
There's the review!
I'm a little disappointed. There's more recycled content than I expected. There's tracks from Ridge Racer and Ridge Racer 6 and a lot of the things you've seen before. It runs better and like the textures are better, and you can customize your cars, which is new.
And again, it looks completely different in HD.
It looks completely
It looks
better.
lousy on a standard
The
def
frame
TV.
rate is amazing and brilliant, but like the textures on standard look like shit. mean, it's Ridge Racer, and you know what to expect with Ridge Racer. You know you're gonna have a good time, but it's not too deep, and yeah, you know what it is.
I'm a Ridge Racer fan.
And if you're a Ridge Racer fan, if you're someone who, if in 1990s,
You're the part of
What
the
were you
problem,
saying,
man.
Em?
Stop buying it. Let him change it
I
up.
haven't decided on my score. I haven't played enough, so I'm
No,
not
you
gonna
haven't.
bust. I'm not gonna bust that out.
racing games that are different, but I still like my Ridge Racer every once in a while.
Save that for review.
Waiting for what?
They needed MotorStorm. That's all. I wish they had MotorStorm.
They're gonna have a MotorStorm demo at launch. I wish we could download that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's another
If they had
thing.
Resistance and MotorStorm, I would be perfectly happy with this launch.
And what's weirder, in Japan, they're getting MotorStorm and F1 in December, and we're not, because in Japan, they don't have online modes. And they're like, oh, they don't need online. But we need online, apparently, so we're not getting those.
You do want online.
I want online.
Yeah, so see?
Both the games I'm reviewing, Ridge Racer and Genji, you can install them to the hard drive, which makes the load times be about 2 to 3 seconds. And people are like not realizing how bad load times have gotten in current next-gen games, like Xbox 360 games and PS3 games. If you don't do this, the load times are terrible. Really, really bad. Like, unacceptably bad. No one's really talking about this, but I don't want to sit for 30 seconds while my level loads. Launches are inherently launchy, unless you have, like, I don't know, Zelda at your launch, or Mario or something, but most of these games, I mean, most of the 18 to 21 games we're seeing, we've already seen on Xbox 360. There are only 4 games total that are exclusive to PlayStation 3.
Right.
So, for the most part, this launch for us isn't very exciting, because we've played all these games.
We have test units. They look like the console, but they're not the real thing. That said, we also can't check out any of the media functionality of the system at all. It doesn't play Blu-ray discs, it doesn't play CDs, it doesn't play DVDs. Like, I put a memory stick Duo in there to try to like see if I could watch the my PSP version of the 1-Up show on the system. It doesn't recognize that.
Hey, I'm just glad it recognizes games, man, so we can do our reviews. That's all I'm happy right now.
That's true. The interesting thing about Blu-ray is, of course, they were talking about how much space developers need to make games for this console.
We don't have any of the other.
We don't have retail discs, of course, but that's why this is going to work. This is a Resistance disc, which you can see has like, it's quite
it's
full.
like out to
there, right?
Yeah.
Here's Untold Legends. I don't know if you can see that.
It's harder to see.
Fingerprinted, but it's right
just
there.
Out to there.
Ridge Racer.
To here.
Ridge Racer fills up about.
We need like a ruler.
About a 1/4 inch of that. So there are certain games that are being printed to Blu-ray right now that are using, much less. They wouldn't even fill up a regular DVD.
As much as the excitement has been quelled a bit here, we've had it for a week, we've played all the games, it is what it is, it's a launch. I think when the real launch does occur in a week, we'll kind of be excited again, because we'll have the downloadable games, we'll have MotorStorm to play, there'll be stuff to get excited about again.
We'll be able to check out the online browse, the browsers and all that stuff, right? Like right now, it's just like we have this GIMP version of the system, and all it does is play the retail games, or the debug games we have.
It does play the retail games as well.
Yeah,
which is why it's odd to me that it's not playing PS2 retail.
PS2 tests were like that too, actually.
Yeah. I'm still happy to have it. I think we're all still happy to have it. I'm grateful. We're a grateful nation.
Yeah, no.
I can do my job now. I can also
the beginning of an amazing journey.
Oh, Shane.
Can't wait for Zelda.
I'm so excited to play Zelda.
Me too. Aren't we all?
Because we were talking about when we were visiting there, like how we only played 3 maps, but we could have played all night.
Oh yeah, we could have just kept going.
Yeah, totally.
I was having really good luck, like sticking with the assault, or not the with the assault rifle. Like I wouldn't even.
Oh, hold on a second. We got a visitor.
Oh man, that's really awesome. All right, man. I know. Yeah. Yes, we are talking about Halo 3. Come in, sit down. We can finally talk about it now.
I'm not getting kicked out. It's cool.
No.
Yes.
Issues out. We can talk about it now.
Yeah, we can talk about it now.
It's out in the air now.
All right. So what do you want to know? Where should we start?
From the beginning, I want to know everything. Like, what was, getting up there and everything else.
All right. Well, let me take you back to a crisp autumn morning. The sun that day, anyway, we got lost.
You were just like the stubborn, I don't need directions.
I was navigating.
You and Christian, both of you.
That's
not
true.
A laptop with directions, and we still got lost.
Man, it feels like such the future here, using this gigantic fucking laptop on my lap for directions.
Thing in front of you.
Way back on?
Yeah, it looks like you're moving back on the highway that way. this thing's got a little turning radius to it.
How good is this thing at flipping the bitch? That's what we should have asked the dude.
We should have had like a dry run drive lead there. We should have had a practice.
Are you lost? No, completely.
What was Bungie like? I mean, you got there. I mean, it's like the holy grail of games right now. Like,
it's like a mini mall with other shit, isn't it? Maybe we'll see. Oh, okay.
Nope. Oh shit, there he is.
Maybe this laptop.
Is that the Warthog?
The laser's up. The guy.
That was a snipe, sorry.
No, laser. Oh, he's an asshole. I saw 3 of them. 3 of them, right? What's this? Come on. Oh, we still won.
So we just played 3 new levels. Can you tell us about each of them?
I'll start with Snowbound. That's our smaller map that you guys saw. It's Slayer-focused, free-for-all, so it's kind of an arena-style map, symmetrical. It's Covenant-themed map, but also there's some Forerunner structures there.
And I noticed there's like the periphery is all manned by guns, so there's not actually walls, but if you walk outside that, you get shot by about 600 sort of machine guns, that sort of thing.
The long-term plan for the level is not to have an invisible wall on one side. I mean, we're trying to free the artists up to do what they think's cool.
Right.
And one of the ideas is, yeah, the guns will open fire on you, or you'll trip on a landmine, or something other.
Right.
Something will befall you.
And one of the coolest things about that map are those walls that people can pass through, but not bullets. Can you talk about that, sort of where that idea came from, or whose idea that was, if that's going to be in a lot of the maps? Or?
Sure. It was one of our I'll just say his name, Justin, one of our multiplayer environment artists. It was his idea, and we prototyped it, and it was just really fun from the beginning.
It really impacts the game a lot more than we sort of expected. Like, it sounds sort of trivial, right? Like, it's a wall, you know, you can't shoot through it. Whoopee. But in practice, I mean, all the different things people do, like stepping through, dropping a grenade, stepping back across, or like trying to bait one another to try and, why don't you come through first? You know,
Yeah.
wait for you.
Then what was the name of the one that we were just playing, the High Ground?
High Ground?
Yeah.
High Ground is more of it's an asymmetrical map, and it's an objective game type map, so it's specifically set up for one flag, CTF. So one side starts at the base of where the beach is, and the other side starts inside the complex. And the people who are attacking have to kind of make their way, breach the wall, get inside, take the flag, and try and take it back to the beach.
We found that the Eliminatio game type, this sort of high-stakes Slayer, works really well in that map. You get these really interesting plays and strategies that develop as one side gets used to and adapts to, you know, having the sniper rifle as opposed to not having the sniper rifle, or do we hold the wall or do we sally forth and be really aggressive?
So finally, Valhalla, which is the big one.
Valhalla is sort of the successor to Blood Gulch. It's a large vehicle map. It's actually a little bit smaller than Blood Gulch in terms of base to base. It feels larger though. It's a much more varied terrain than Blood Gulch was. More craggy rocks and hills and the jumps that come out of that. Valhalla is, because it has much more terrain variation, you've oftentimes find that if a warthog's coming at you, you can get behind something, or you can lose the warthog, or the warthog can lose you. It works really well for the vehicles too, because two warthogs which are engaging one another can say, whoa, 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 my shield's down, like, let's go off here, and it's sort of a vehicle scale cover thing.
We saw the Spartan laser, which was really cool. I think people were like laughing and smiling the first time they saw it shot.
The Spartan laser started off just as a silly mock-up weapon in late in Halo 2. It was never going to go into the game. It was just something that I was dicking around with on my free time. And then Halo 3 rolled around and we started prototyping up weapons, and it was like, you know, we kind of need an anti-vehicle weapon. What works for anti-vehicles? Well, we don't really have a sniper rifle that takes out vehicles, and that's what it turned into, was the anti-vehicle sniper rifle. The nice thing about it, though, is it's not like the sniper rifle where, whack, all of a sudden out of nowhere, you've got this pointer on you, and you're like, oh my god, there's a laser being pointed at me, and it's charging up and then discharges all at once, and it's a very high order, very tight point of damage. It almost has no area of effect on it at all.
Yeah.
But whatever it hits, it kills.
The mongoose. So it's in.
The mongoose, yeah. In Halo 3, what vehicles do we need for multiplayer? And we came up with a couple, but the really main one was we really wanted a vehicle which is low impact. Like, we wanted a vehicle which we could take and put like 4 or 5 or 6 of these things on a map, make them respawn real fast so that they're always there, they're always in play, and not worry about that ruining the balance of the map. It's really just a transportation vehicle. No weapons, no integrated weapons on it. The passenger can fire his gun, but that's the limit of its offensive capability.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, it's low impact. We can use a lot of them, and we really just have to concentrate on making them fun to drive.
Well, you talk about getting around the map quick. Another thing, the man cannon, which we've sort of seen before, but it sounds like that's a philosophy that's more going into multiplayer.
There's just so many funny things that happen with the man cannons, where we had one instant where someone was driving a ghost around, and someone just came out of nowhere and boarded the ghost. What was that? Well, it came down off the man cannon, landed on the ghost, and boarded the ghost.
Oh, that's
away.
awesome.
So
yeah.
We haven't yet had a Banshee boarding from the man cannon, but
very close.
We've had a couple very close incidents.
Cool. Well, I think that's it. Cool. Thanks, guys. Cool. So, Marty, tell me about Halo 3, like music in Halo 3. I know the logo they talk about has this more somber, like serious tone to it when they were talking about designing the logo, and they're like, it has a darker tone to it. So is that going to follow through in the music as well?
Boy, music is, you know, my approach to music is that I wait. I don't wait till the last minute on purpose. I wait until I see things really coming together. So I know what the cinematics are doing, and I know what the levels are doing.
Right.
And it's really based on the emotion of the scene that we want. So when the scene or the level is somber, it'll be somber music.
What sort of things did you learn from Halo 2 specifically? I mean, you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
But what sort of things did you really learn from Halo 2 now that's going to change, you know, how you approach it for Halo 3?
The exact same piece of music plays exactly the same way. I think that you lose something.
Right.
So every time we can have some sort of, you know, either what feels like development in the music, and the dialogue is, you don't hear the same dialogue, you don't hear the same weapon sounds that you know, are predictable, that there's enough permutations in the sounds of the weapons, or even the way you crash into a rock with the Warthog. It's not the same crash every time.
Halo Wars, are you going to be involved in that?
Halo Wars, I'm not sure what is
in
that.
The soundtrack?
No, actually, I've talked to Kevin down at Ensemble, and that's their game. They're making that game.
Right.
So I mean, consulting is, you know, really too strong a word, but we like those guys and we like what they do. Ensemble's a great studio, and they do great stuff, and they're having a lot of fun doing the sound design, and and music for that game.
I remember we talked a couple years ago, and you talked about how it works, how the sound is actually generated on the fly by what's actually going on. So
Right.
it says, this is metal, this is stone,
Right.
it's heading at this speed, make this sound, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming it's at least that with Halo 3, and
Right.
then is there anything you can add?
We're trying to make sure that there's other things that there's like constraints in the physics, and those can actually control the playback of sound and control the pitch of the sound. And we're just trying to expand all the different sort of real-time things that the game is spitting out, and making sure that can track in real time something that's happening in the sound, so that there's always a really good synchronization between what you're seeing and how the sound plays back.
Cool, great. Thanks for talking with us.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you too.
Past. Your future.
So what about the maps? Like, did you like
Maps, like the whole multiplayer. Luke should actually be here. We really need Luke here for this.
Wait, is he gonna make fun of me being Swedish again? I mean,
yeah, probably. So yeah, I mean the assault rifle. I stuck to it a bunch, especially at first when we first started playing. And
I gotta finish some strategy guides.
Yeah. So actually, I stuck with it a bunch at the beginning. I wasn't switching. I wasn't dual wielding. I
Much
wasn't
better
doing
than
whatever.
SMG.
Oh, way better. And I mean, I was actually doing pretty well with it. I was like getting.
This is the way the world ends.
Hey, how was your
Oh,
first
hey.
day?
Cool. Really good. Yeah. Do you know anything about basketball?
No, I don't play those ball games.
Yeah.
So anyway, welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome
I'm
home.
so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you back.
Ooh, ready to hatch our evil plans for video games.
Are they evil? I don't know.
Well, no.
Yeah, the desk next to me was empty for way too long. But I'm glad to have you filling it. I wouldn't want anyone else doing this. So,
There's no other job I'd rather be doing.
well,
Yeah.
let's kick some ass then.
Fucking yeah. 40-man resistance. Who wants some? Let's Gears of War right now.
I thought you were playing NBA though.
I think I got that.
Okay.
I got it.
All right, let me go get the other PS3.
Yeah. Sorry, Shaq. I'm done.